Today's guest on the Retirement Solutions Group podcast is Brian Lee, the founder of BL Wealth Management and a preferred advisor with Retirement Solutions Group. Brian has more than 20 years of experience helping individuals and families simplify their retirement strategies, minimize taxes, and build financial plans that last. His approach combines practical financial expertise with a strong focus on relationships, helping clients gain confidence and clarity as they transitioned into retirement. Brian, thanks so much for being a guest on the podcast today.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to be here as well. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, we have a short 10-minute podcast today, so let's dive right into, let's talk about mindset and what it is that, obviously mindset is so important and it's such a broad topic. But when it comes to what's going on with retirees and pre-retirees and people that you're working with in that space, like what comes to mind when you think about the importance of mindset in your role?
We have to be spot on with the clients from the situation because we're dealing with one of the three circles of life, and that's their financial wellness and their ability to either retire or semi-retire. And so navigating with confidence and assurance that they've come to the right place and we have the solutions that help them and providing them with the necessary tools to make some informed decisions. We're not playing a game of darts. We're playing with precision and accuracy, and we can support the numbers so they can have a successful retirement or dream come true retirement.
That's interesting. So you mentioned playing a game of darts, which is probably a mindset that some people have, or they're not even realizing that they should be throwing some darts, seeing something that seeing if they can get something to stick to the wall. Maybe it's not on their mind, or they're just like playing a game of darts. So that might be somebody in our audience right now who's just like, oh yeah, I'll throw some money into a savings account. I'll throw some money into a tax qualified plan. I got a 401k, and they're just like, throwing stuff. What would you suggest for that person? Like, how do they, if they're just thinking, okay, well, isn't that good enough? Like, what else do I need to do? What would you say?
I think first and foremost, it starts with me taking a look at their overall situation. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of statements and a bunch of noise, really. We're understanding, do they have, how much qualified assets do they have? How much post Roth IRA assets do they have? And really looking at, their life expectancy and all the fundamental keys to understanding kind of what, how can this portfolio hold up in good times and bad times, but also, what kind of lifestyle are they envisioning their retirement to be, and then working backwards from there. So if their bucket list is vacations and spending time with family or giving money to charity, for instance, are they equipped to do so? Where I think a lot of people don't really have a crystal clear number per se. They have an idea, but they don't really know how to quantify it or how to monetize it, and put it to work. So you got two phases. You got the accumulation phase that gets us to the distribution phase, and two different spectrums, so we got to be equipped on both ends.
Right. That's interesting. So let's say somebody has a good vision for what they want ultimately for retirement or just for life in general. And I think that's where a lot of people could use some help quantifying the number. Like, I know what I have the vision of what I want, but like, what's the reality? How do I get there? Or maybe I'm got my head in the sand and I just believe that I'm going to hit it without actually having even thought about the number, just assuming it's going to work out. So obviously that's a major component of what you do, quantifying the number, maybe shifting, what they think versus reality. Can you speak a little bit more to that? Like, what's the process for that?
First and foremost, it starts with an accurate plan, understanding the needs and then understanding the wants. I think where people they blur the lines, needs are not wants and wants are not needs, And so fundamentally, what do they need? And then let's talk about the next steps. How do we satisfy those wants? But the plan will speak. The numbers is the math behind it. Let the numbers speak, and then it's, is it repositioning their asset base? Is it growth? Is it maybe they've established a nice nest egg, and we just need to recharacterize the asset base accordingly? And then you got inflation and taxes. Those are with them throughout their entire lifespan. There's ebbs and flows there. So we got to account for what's predictable, and then the one thing we can't predict is a black swan event. No one can predict that. So you try to look from the most riskiest perspective to the least and work backwards from there is how I look at it.
Okay, gotcha. So obviously needs versus wants. So the needs, though, I mean, how do you extrapolate from say a young couple in their 20s or 30s, just got married, want to buy a house, want to have a baby, want to not work forever, but they have steady jobs. They're good client for you, right? And you get them talking about where they want to go. So how do you quantify needs and wants? Obviously, if you can build a plan that gets them their needs and their wants, that's awesome. But how do you quantify that? Like, do you like, they might have an idea of what their budget is today, but how do they know what it's going to be 25, 30 years from now? How do you do that part?
Yeah, so the budget's the beginning, basically understanding how much is coming in income-wise, how much is going out. So there's two categories: people that operate in the green. That's one conversation that's favorable, meaning that they have a surplus and they have discretionary income that can go above and beyond.
Okay.
People in the red, it's a different conversation of, I'm sorry, but we have to change something in your program because you're at a deficit. How we're going to reduce costs or get more income coming in for you. And so I have some solutions around, addressing that as well. But so we look at those variables first, and then we diagnose, an action plan to follow. But the budget, they have to understand what that looks like. They have to account, and then inflation's factored into the future. So my program figures I'm at retirement, 67 on average years of age, the cost of goods today, and then what they are, 20, 30, 40 years from now. So, so they're equipped with the numbers, and my planning is in real time. So as we change the numbers, everything evolves along the way. So we're always operating with the most current information.
Yeah, you have I've looked at your system. You have a very robust retirement planning system, and it's really cool. I think somebody could probably like use it on their own, but it could be a little overwhelming. And I feel like that's like a really important part of what you bring to the table is just like not just having great tools, but being able to take the customer experience and apply it to that. Would you have any other comments on that?
Yeah, so we arm everybody basically with a plan, and it's their own dashboard. So it's an educational journey, just like we're getting to know them and understand their situation and their motivations. We're also arming them with an education so they understand it's, at the end of the day, it's their resources and their funds, not mine or anybody else's. And so it's important that they understand on the surface what's going on, but they have a plan that's actually with them to make important decisions instead of playing the game of darts like we were talking about earlier. So.
Yeah, it seems like one of the best things that somebody experiences working with you is just the clarity, like to be able to have a plan, but to have like, I think they have a login to it. They can look at it. They can they can make adjustments. They can play with it, and they can say, well, what happens if I change this expense, or if I want to do this this added on to my retirement plan. They can play with those things. They can see it, and when you can see it, then there's absolute clarity.
100%. Yeah, that's the game changer for them getting involved and engaged, where a lot of people want to throw statements at an advisor, and that's not always the right solution. When they're engaged and involved, it's a better experience for both.
Cool. So let's wrap up here. So if you're listening here and you're thinking, gosh, I have retirement accounts, I've got statements I get in the mail, I've got things here and there. Maybe I even like made a spreadsheet, and I kind of have some idea, but you would like to have greater clarity, put it all into a system that works for you to bring more and more clarity. I want to encourage you to reach out to Brian Lee. He's one of our preferred advisors here at Retirement Solutions Group. He owns his own practice, but he's also partnered with Retirement Solutions. And if you want to get a hold of him, contact us. The information's close by. You know, it's in a link real close or in the show notes. But yeah, and then keep tuning into Retirement Solutions Group podcasts and keep getting more and more knowledge that will help you as a retiree or pre-retiree. And Brian, thank you so much for being the guest today. Appreciate your time. Did you have any last comment?
No, thank you, Scott, for the opportunity. Great to connect with you again, and appreciate you sharing the podcast with me.
Yep, and I'm sure we'll do it again. Thanks, Brian.
Yep.
All right, that's a wrap.
Cool.
I can let you go. Did you have anything before I let you go?
No, I think the last conversations really are helping. You know, more around kind of just, you know, I think I think we're all realizing it's a patience game. You know, with I think there's high expectations as a group. You know, amongst everybody wants it now, right? We're very much a now society, and no one wants to do the hard work. We forget what's involved in business development to get from A to Z. You know, so it's a good reminder to. I think the panel thing is a great idea to synergize with others, because I think we're all, if one person says that, we're all thinking it in some way, shape, or form. But I think the last two conversations have been really, really solid, you know, overall. So
I think going through the pipelines for each individual or as a group, I think it's going to be helpful if we do that every week. And we do have, last time I talked to you, we do have, you know, in play, it's not fully there yet, but, you know, just like asking them more and more data points. So by the time you talk to them, you've got a whole picture of where they're at and what's on their mind, what their, you know, situation is. So we're getting that deployed, and that school group is going to be a part of helping it, because we can invite them to the school group and then say, oh yeah, thanks for joining the school group. Here's some information we want to know about you. And so every stage of it, you know, helps. So we're just going to keep refining it.
Awesome. How does that, so from the you know, being an assigned advisor, is that go into your own private community, or is it a general, you know what I'm saying, in terms of, so we keep like the leads separate from one another's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so once they're assigned to you, they are yours. So even if they, like, we can put, and we'll talk about this next week, but we can put, hey, if you want to talk to one of our advisors, here's the link. And they'll go to a link that looks like it's a link for everybody, but either their email address or their phone number or both will match them with the appropriate advisor. So it doesn't get lost. So we can be a bigger group, and from, you know, from their perspective, again, I mean, they're looking for information. They bought an education program, and this is just helping them get educated. And they're like, oh man, I got all these different advisors that are giving me information in the school group. And then, oh, one of them's Brian. He's the guy I've been, you know, texting with, you know, and then once they schedule from there, or, you know, want to reach out to anyone, it'll always redirect, because that's, the system's able to do that. So it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the level of interactiveness with I think the psychology of like why they're buying this, and why they're timing, just understanding, because that will tell us a lot about, and then maybe something around, in a perfect setting or a perfect world, when would be an appropriate time that you'd want somebody to help you, or, you know, then it gives us kind of a more clues on, like, okay,
that's a good
question. They're 6 months out, so don't bombard them. Stay in touch with them over the course of time, but don't bombard them. So that's a nurturing conversation versus
that's
good. You know, they lost a family member and they got to move these funds, but in the next 6 months or 6 weeks or something, or their estate's going to be settled, but they need to, you know, or they're going through divorce, and, you know what I'm saying, that they're more urgent things. So that would be, I think, really critical. That would kind of differentiate. It's good for both. It's good to understand the pain points of where they're at, and then
Yeah.
the level of urgency of, yes, this is causing me I'm losing sleep over this, I need to fix this, or I'm just more interested. We want to spend time with the people that want the help the most first, and then get to the people that, you know, are more opposed to you know, nobody wants to burn up a lot of I think where the advisors get frustrated when we're spending time with a tire kicker that just was looking for free information. We want to move on from that. So,
right.
You know, so.
All right, sorry, I got to run.
Yes.
But good suggestion. We'll do that. Thanks, Brian.
Okay.
Have a good rest
Good
of your day.
buddy. Yeah.